Hi, this is Kagi, and welcome to the High Fiber Diet Podcast. This is June 5th, so a Friday. It is raining pretty heavy here in West Michigan, which is good. That means God's watering my plants, and I don't need to. And maybe it'll tone down the pollen a little bit. We've had a lot of tree sperm here, and yeah, I had to use the leaf blower yesterday and get it all off our ramp and stairs and everything else. And I'm getting ready to go out and use borax on our wooden stairs so that they get all the green ick from winter and pollen and everything off them, get them all washed up for the summer season, and then hopefully we'll be able to stain them this year. We've been here just under 3 years, and we want to get that stained and not polyurethane, but treated so that they're okay for stairs. We do use the ramp more than we use the stairs, but we have both front and back stairs here, so we do need to treat them. Wood is a thing, and it deteriorates if you don't take care of it. So yeah, a little bit of a rant there, I guess. That's what I've been doing, is a lot of yard work, getting the garden going. We bought seedlings, so already started plants for tomatoes, cucumbers, bell peppers, and then I have a whole bunch of flowers out there that I've been taking care of. I don't want anything planted in the ground this year. We want to do everything in containers. So, sorry about that. You're seeing the ring light. So I'm doing container gardening, which is different for me, and getting the bigger container pots, but enough room after putting the foam and stuff in the bottom so that the roots are okay. And it's a whole learning curve for me. So if you have any suggestions, I don't do the big boxes or whatever. I don't have room for that. But I've been doing container plants, about this big around or whatever. And yeah, I'm learning. So I have a little bit of time to do it. So that's what I'm doing. So this is a podcast about knitting, spinning, crochet, and needle crafts. So yeah, first things first, I guess, is what I'm wearing. I did finish, and I think it's called the Stella Alpena, but let me look to confirm the name and the designer and all that good stuff. And if I was a good podcaster, I would have already had that. But as I'm pulling this up, welcome to those that are coming back or that are coming here for the first time, and welcome back to those that are coming back. It's been a journey, and this journey started many, many, many years ago in another format. I was audio back then, and that's why sometimes I stumble, because I'm used to being able to edit quickly, and in video you can't edit quickly and it looks choppy. So I try not to edit. Number one, it's not easy, and number two, I am who I am, and I'm gonna keep it real. I've been accused of a lot of things, of hiding and stuff like that. And so over the years, I've just gone, you know what? Keep it real, and they can't argue with me. So yes, this is the Stella Alpena by Minimi Knit Design. And I did this out of Kobu, which is a cotton bamboo blend from Lion Brand. And last episode, I believe I talked on how I needed it to block out a bit longer, and I knew because of the weight that it would block. So I'm going to try and stand up here, and you're not going to see much, but you can tell that this, that in the photos online comes to here, actually grew quite a bit, and it is below my waist down here, and it fits nicely with a pair of jeans. I do wear a tank top underneath it. Here is a picture of me in it, and I am very happy with how this turned out. I did end up adding 12 12 rows of stockinette before going into a purl row and doing 4 rows of ribbing. I did the 4 rows of ribbing at the top and kept that the same on the bottom, with just a short stockinette and ribbing there. The only thing I didn't do is on the bottom, I did not do the purl row before that I did in the sleeves, and that is here on the top. A little bit different, that's okay. I'm very happy with how this came out. I think I used 3 balls, not quite 3 balls. I have this much left of the 3rd ball, and that is for yeah, my size. I'm happy with it, and it is a lot silkier than what I thought it would be. The other top that I did out of Kobu was, I believe I did the ranunculus in pink, and it got a little pilly, but this one so far, I mean, it's only been washed once. The other one's been washed a couple times, and let's see if I have a picture of the other one. That would have been way back, and I don't know if I do. Nope. But I was working on that when I moved from South Dakota to here, so over 3 years ago, and I wasn't posting to Ravelry back then, and so it didn't get put up. But I'm very happy with how this came out. Would I knit it again? Probably not. It was kind of, I know the reason that I put it away. It was almost a year in the making. No, it was just over a year in the making. I think I started it on May 26th of 2025, and I finished it May 29th. So just over a year. But it sat in a bag over the season when I wasn't working on it. And I think it was because it went to over 400 stitches around. And because of the amount of excess ease that I have in this, I moved stitches to the front, left stitches on the back so that the back, so that the back is a little shorter than what the front is to accommodate the girls. It's still got plenty of excess ease here. And in reading stuff online about this pattern, reading the reviews and reading the comments and everything on Ravelry, excuse me, have a frog. Everyone was concerned with it being oversized and having to rip back and make it a smaller size. I did end up taking up about 6 inches by slip stitching the neckline. And all I did was do a single slip stitch along here, and every once in a while, instead of catching every single one of them, I would skip one. And so I think I picked up 5, skipped 1, picked up 5, 6, skipped 1 when it came to the slip stitches, and that reduced it and brought it in, because when I put it on originally, it was basically where this line here is. It was off the shoulder, very 80s look, and not the look I was going for. And by being able to crochet chain that, I was able to bring it up and still have everything else. I mean, I love the way it fits. I love the way it looks. Sarge is very happy with it on me. And yeah, I think following the pattern is great, but sometimes you have to know what you're doing and what you want in the end in order to get what you want to wear. So there's that. This is my only finished object this week, and what have I been working on? There's been several that I've worked on. Some I said I was going to get finished and I didn't. My niece's blanket, I didn't even touch this week. Crocheting with my wrists this week just wasn't happening. So I think it's because of the really big hook and the double yarn. I just kind of set that aside for this week, and next week hopefully I'll get into that and be able to move forward with that. I do like Blanket Sunday. I think kind of loopy. Sarah Jean had brought that up, and I've kind of been following along with it. I haven't been playing all the way because I sometimes do Scrappy Sunday, but Blanket Sunday might be a way for me to get going on that. And yeah, what have I been working on? Let's go into works in progress. So the first one here I have is the shawl, and I only put one more repeat on this. I have one more to go before I go on to the final edging on it. That's the inside of it. Here's the correct side, the predominant side. And so I did one more row, or one more repeat, which is 8 rows. And now I think I'm supposed to do 7, and I think I've done 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes. And so I have one more to go, and then I will go on to the garter on the bottom. And so I have enough yarn here that I don't foresee having to get into another skein of yarn. And I work on this in the evenings when I can. I have been doing with, oh, what is her name? I am terrible with names, always have been. So something we have to play. Nest, Renee has a podcast, and that's MAWNESNEST, and she is doing the Summer of Sittin' and Stitchin'. And it is where you write down from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and I put the weeks starting here and then did Monday through Sunday going down. You put in the hours that you spent stitching, and so last weekend I was able to stitch quite a bit. And on the weekend it was 8 hours each day, but since Labor Day I've been putting in the hours, and it's, you know, half hour here, 20 minutes there, a couple hours here, nothing huge. But if you want to join us, go over to her YouTube and you'd be able to get in with that. It is the Summer of Sittin' and Stitchin', and all you have to do is how many hours have you spent. And I don't know how she's going to draw, but it's going to be what it is. So I've been writing it down. That's why I know. The next thing that I was working on, that's not cool. That yarn just got pulled out. Let's put that there. I had a meeting I had to go to the other day. I don't sit still well, never have. So I decided to, with very, very old stash yarn, have no idea even what make it is. I'm pretty sure it's a worsted weight, but I think it's 100% wool. I don't think it's a superwash. So I decided to start a Sophie shawl. Not shawl, Sophie scarf, the short one. I don't know if I'm even doing it right. I kind of went, well, that's how it looks, and that's what I'm doing. And so maybe one of these days I'll pull the pattern out, or I'll just continue doing what I'm doing because it was what was in my brain. I'll weigh it. When it gets to 50 grams, I'll switch to the other, probably 45 grams, but I'll switch to decreases. That is in my bag. I believe KDO made me this bag. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure KDO made me this bag. So it's one I pull out every summer and enjoy using, and especially this summer with the red, white, and blue going on. So very happy with that. Another item that I have been working on, and this is a bag from Jackie Tremblay, and this is my Long May She Wave. I only did a couple rows on this, not much, didn't pull it out much. Wasn't what I was gravitating towards, though I want to get it done. It just wasn't what I was gravitating towards. And so that is done out of palette in heather, cranberry or hollyberry, and a blue. And eventually I will get that finished. I do have two red, white, and blue shawls already for the summer, and so this isn't a huge gotta have. One more item that I worked on is the Agave, and the Agave is by, let me open it up because this one I'm gonna forget. Yumiko Alexander, I believe that's how you say her name. Maybe, maybe not. This, let's see, pattern page. There's the pattern page for it. And I am doing this up in Loops and Threads Silky Soft rayon from Bamboo, and this is 100% bamboo in the Deep Lake colorway. I am not making it in pieces because though I know how to seam, it's not my favorite thing to do when I don't have to. And wow, is this picking up everything? I just split, there we go, split the yarn, okay. So I am working this in the round. I did not add stitches, I did not take away stitches, nothing. So this is the front panel, and you can see the agave leaves there. And then on the back, I think you're supposed to have it on the opposite side, but I decided to do it on the same side. It starts up a little bit further up. It doesn't do the bottom piece that goes along. And I think I have to do 7 of the small repeats after doing 1 of the large. And then it'll probably be at 5 of the small that I separate for the front and the back, and I start working flat for the portion at the top. And I haven't decided whether I'm going to scoop the front or I'm going to leave it straight. I don't normally like a boat neck. I like a bit of a scoop, and it just depends on my mood when I get there. So far I've got what, about 6.5, maybe 7 inches going, and it is worked bottom up. This is being held in my What Happens at a Knitting Retreat Stays at a Knitting Retreat from Thank God for Bags. Let me zip it first. And I definitely have enough yarn in here to do it. I think I actually have too much yarn to do it. So I haven't even gotten through the first ball yet. Then I have the project that has been taking up my brain space. I was looking up here and I'm like, hey, I have a whole bag, 10 skeins of wool to dye for, bulky. Because, you know, you're going into summer, what do you think of knitting with? Bulky, right? So, undyed, bulky. But I really didn't want the cream. But I like the cream. So I looked over here and I saw that I have 4 balls of trinket. And this trinket is in Smithsonite, maybe Smithsonite. And this is from Premier Yarn. It is a carry-along tweed. And so with these two together, see if I can get that to stay somehow. I decided to hold them double. And the pattern that I chose is out of the Knitting Experience, the Purl Stitch. Let me set this up here. And I have finished the back. Like I said, I can seam, I just don't enjoy doing so. So this is a 3x1 rib. Here's the inside of it. You can see my rib. And this tweed is looking wonderful. And I also finished the right side, and I have marked for my buttons, and I have continued on for the neckband for the collar. So the collar is already in this. It has a 1x1 rib collar. It has a V shape, but not pulling away from it. It just shows that it's going to lay nicely. And I have started on the second front. Both fronts have pockets, and you do a bit of knitting, and then up here you connect the pocket and then you sew it down around it. I've still got to block that, but it's going to come out fine. So it's got a nice pocket. I did not use the tweed on the inside of the pocket. I only used it for the outside. And so this one is just at the point where all the buttonholes are in. And I've got to decide buttons. I don't know if I'm going to do a cream color button, a black button, or if I'm going to go for like a pink marble button that'll have the black, the pink, and the cream. But I am at this point where about right here. You were supposed to go to 28 inches, and I'm only doing mine to 25 inches. According to the pattern, I don't have 300 yards, and I figured that's that extra length. I'll still do long sleeves if I can. And so I only did it to 25 inches, but I still think back when this pattern was written, let me talk about the pattern a little bit. So I'm almost to the point of, I think I've got 8 more repeats for decreases, and then I go on to the collar on this, and so I'm almost to the point of doing sleeves. But this book, one of my goals this year was to knit with stash, which I have been trying very adamantly to do. Not that I'm not buying yarn, but I really want to knit with stash. And the other thing was to knit out of my books that I have. I have a very vast library. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cubbies there, and 5 more cubbies down there with just needlework books. I do have one cubby that has workbooks for human resources, employment law, management, those kind of things. So those I have because I do work out of my office also. But for the most part, my library that is in here is needlecraft books, dating all the way back to the 40s and 50s when I had books from my mom. But I don't have a lot of those. I have a few. But yeah, this book, I was like, what am I going to do? And I kept looking on Ravelry, and I was looking in the patterns, and I'm like, well, I want a bulky sweater, but I want something that's classic. And in book 2, the Purl Stitch, I saw the classic cardigan, classic college cardigan. And immediately I was drawn to it for Sarge. And so I took it to him and I said, do you want this sweater? And he said, well, yeah. And I want it exactly like that, except in brown. I'm like, well, I can do that. I can do that out of stash. I have enough fisherman's wool from Lion Brand. I have both the brown heather and the natural ecru. And so I'm going to do that for him as soon as I'm done with mine. I haven't decided if I'm going to marl it because it does call for a bulky, or if I'm just going to make it out of the Aran weight that it is. But I wanted one for me, and they do have the women's version as well. And so the women's version has a little bit shorter of a V, has 6 buttons instead of 5, which I'm only doing 5 on this one because I'm doing it shorter. And like I said, it goes to 28 inches and the men's goes to 30. Ooh, let me get the number correct. The men's goes to 32 and the woman's goes to 28, and I'm going to 25. And this is written in the way, this was back in 2003, I think, by Sally Melville. What year was this? Yeah. Back when, right? Not even getting a date on it. I want to say it was 2003. Let's confirm. Yep, copyright 2003 by XRX, which was Stitches. And they're no longer in print. This was out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. But I started this, and this was written in the way of do the other side just like the other, but opposite. And that is something that in today's patterns you don't see very much. And I really like that today's patterns don't do that. Because sometimes it isn't intuitive what you're doing. And I'm doing the best I can. I want to do mine first, and then I'm going to cast on his. These are the schematics I get. Just the little things there. And there's not a lot of hand holding in this. I'm okay with that, but I'm not doing the stripes on mine. I didn't want stripes across my chest. I'm just doing the tweed for mine. And then I will do the stripes for Sarge because he's asked for it. And yeah, so pick up a book, get out of your rut. And this is what has been addictive to me. It is just, I want to knit this. And so at night, I've been sitting down. I am working on size 11 needles. And these that I am working with is an old pair that I got from, oh my goodness, I can't remember her name. At the very first, it was before Knitting in the Mitten, we did Fiber in the Forest. And I was working on something from Annetta T. And I started it there, and I didn't have size 11 needles, and she let me keep them. These are Addie Pros, and I'm not having a problem with these. I have heard a lot of people have problems with Addies, but the cord is not a memory-free cord, and it's not my go-to for needles, but for my size 11s, I really like them. So I have these. And hopefully within the next week or so, that'll be finished and I'll be able to wear it at the beach or whatever after it gets cold. And I'm very happy with it. Let me see if I can fold it up and put it back into the bag that it's in. The bag that it's in is one of my summertime bags. I was given this by the owner of the yarn store in South Dakota in Rapid City. And is it Knit Sip? Can't remember. But I had bought a bunch of yarn, and she gave me a bag, and then I bought a second one and sent it up to Lori because I love it so much. I do actually use this as a purse quite often. I'll tuck the fabric down inside and use it as just a regular summertime purse because it's just the look I go for. But right now it is holding my yarn for this project, except for the big skeins, which are in a Ziploc that I leave in here. That way the cats don't get into them. And I only get them out when I need them. So, yeah. So other than starting a project for Sarge, I have a few other things that I want to start before summer is done. And with that turquoise colored bamboo right there, the balls on the bottom, I would like to start, see if I can find it. If I have to edit this, I will. I don't really like editing, but is it going to bring it up? I know we need some Jeopardy music or something, right? It's called the Everleaf cardigan. I'm trying to get it to open. There we go. And I thought that would be a sweet cardigan to have for my wardrobe in that turquoise color. It is a bamboo, and it calls for sport weight, stone washed, which is cotton and acrylic. And for my size, it will need about 1,850 yards. And this is Bamboo Pop. I believe this is a size 3, which is a DK weight. It is cotton bamboo. 292 yards each ball, and it has a color number. Well, it says turquoise, but color number 251. I think that's what that says. No, color number 106, lot 251. And it does have a little bit of a white fleck in it. But I thought that for this pattern, it'll show the stitch definition, and I think that is what I want to do with that. So that's a thought that I'm doing. I also have this pattern that's called the Wilderness Sweater. And that is the one that I think I want to do out of the Eco Wool Plus with the force gains up there. That to have the main color and the secondary, and then I will use something as the third. And in some ways I'm thinking about bringing in this ochre color with it, and these are the same weight of yarn, and I'm thinking the 3 colors, I can't reach that one up top, but the 3 colors will look really good together. I think there's only 3 colors. Well, there's 4 if I have a black, because this one has gray, black, brown, and white, so there is a 4th color. But I could always do the paws in the same background that I do the rest of the sweater in, and that's what I was thinking. So there's either this one that I'm looking at, or this one, which is more kitten instead of puppy, and a little less of the colors. That one takes 3. So we'll see. I like that. And then for the final thing that I'd like to get started, I do have Tour de Fleece coming up, and I'll be doing a lot of spinning, but I have a little bit of yarn left over. I want to do some sort of shawl out of the leftovers of this cotton silk blend that I did in a t-shirt last year, Lang Paradise. It is cotton and viscose. So I want to do something, a small shawl or scarf out of that. And I want to do a t-shirt, and I'm not sure which one yet, out of this Marisol Nevia, which is Pima cotton, baby alpaca, and merino wool. And that is in the colorway Carrot. And I think that will make an amazing t-shirt of some kind. And I have 4 skeins, and that is at 278 yards each, so just over 1,000 yards. And this is definitely a fingering weight. I'm thinking, that I might do a Tegna, but I'm not sure. it's kind of up in the air right now. I know I want to use it. I know I want to do it. And these are all in my stash. Other things that I really want, and I haven't decided on what yarn, is the Lacy Loops by Other Loops. I want to get that going. I haven't decided on what yarn. I do have, I think it's out of the picture. So, yep, it's out of the picture. I have 6 skeins. Ooh, come with me, thank you. Of Pima cotton. And this is a very coral color. And I thought the Other Loops would look amazing in this, but if I don't have enough, I can't get more. They stopped making this. This is DK or worsted weight Pima cotton from, I want to say Cascade, but I could be wrong. I think it was Cascade. I bought it for a tank top and never made it. So that's a maybe. I've just got to see if my yardage is enough. Other things that I need to finish the V-neck sweater that I have on the go. I need to finish a blanket that I have going. This one, I haven't worked on it in forever. And I love it. I just haven't worked on it in forever. And this is out of, ooh, do I even have the ball band? I think it's out of Sidar. The ball is bigger than my head. And I am working with a H hook on it. And yeah, I think I want to do that. I want to finish that up. Something bright and happy and fun, but that'll be a little bit later in the summer. I have a few other projects that are over there on my whip tree, which is a coat rack that I use for all my whips over there. And I do want to start the, is this the one? Well, that's the Good Mouse kit, so that's not it. But I do have the light bulb garland that I want for Christmas lights that I picked up at the anniversary sale that I talked about a couple episodes ago, or last episode, I'm not sure which, that I want to get going. So I have a lot this summer that I want to get done. Now, things for the summer. This is my granddaughter's last summer before she graduates high school. And then she'll have a summer class and she will graduate college right after she graduates high school with her associate's degree. I am working on a lake sweater for her. I'd like to have that finished by Christmas. She turns 18 just before Christmas, so I'd like to give it to her. My grandson, he just turned 15. It's been forever, right? Yeah. And I want this summer to be fun. We want to go to the Presidential Museum in Grand Rapids. We want to go to Dayton, Ohio and see the Wright brothers stuff. And I want to take the grands with us and just do 2 weeks of fun. And so in this break time of work, no work, consulting only, I really want to just get out there and do some things that we haven't been able to because of both Sarge and I having to work. We're also looking at Sarge possibly having to go in for surgery soon. So another surgery on his hand, getting him back up and going. And so it's, you know, we play it by ear until the doctor says, let's go. And then it's let go. Right here behind me, you can see that I have some yarn that I have picked out to start the stripe hype sweater, I think it is. And I also have yarn right behind you that is going to be for the roses sweater. And that is in a burgundy and a carnation pink. And that's what I'm going to do my roses sweater out of. I don't know if I like the drop shoulder or if I like the rounded one, because there's two different versions, and I'm going to see which I like better. I was going to do a Let's Talk episode where I was going to knit and talk, and I just don't have that much I want to say, and that's horrible, but there's so much going on in the community these days that I don't even want to touch on. I want us all to be friends. We have something in common, and that's knitting and crochet and yarn and spinning and everything that entails. Let's just start being nice to each other. I wish politics would get out of the community, but politics has always been in there, and so I don't see it going anywhere. Stop and smell the flowers. Enjoy some time with your family. They're not going to be there forever. And if you have littles like I have littles that aren't quite littles anymore, spend some time with them. Get to know who they are. I look back and think what I would ask my grandparents, what I would ask my parents if they were still alive. And I just wish that one more conversation. And as we go into this next month, which I consider my birthday month, I really want to reflect back on not what I missed, but what I can do to not miss anymore. And that's where I am. We're going to do beach pole vaulting, and we're going to hopefully ride roller coasters, and we're going to go places and see things and have fun. And going through this crazy little thing we call life is, you only get one go around, so make it a good one. Until next time, check your checkbook before starting the high fiber diet. Bye-bye.